Have you ever wondered whether you need to use less or few in English? There is a simple rule for this, and of course, some exceptions. So, should we use less or few? It all depends on the noun that we are talking about, so the word that comes afterwards in the sentence. If the noun is countable, we say fewer. If it's uncountable, we say less. So what do I mean when I say if a noun is countable or uncountable? It's quite simple. If it's something that we can count, it's countable. If not, uncountable. So for example, an apple is a countable noun because we can count the number of apples. We can count 1 apple or 2 apples, 3 apples, and so forth. So we say there are fewer apples in this shop. But something like water is an uncountable noun because we just say the water. We don't count 1 water, 2 water, 3 water. So we say there is less water in this glass. Now I know what you might be thinking. In a restaurant, for example, we can ask the waiter for 2 waters or 3 waters. But here we are actually talking about the number of glasses of water. And it's the same with coffee. Coffee itself is an uncountable noun because coffee is a substance. We don't count coffee. But when we are in a cafe, for example, we can order 2 coffees or 3 coffees. But again, we're talking about cups of coffee, not coffee itself. So we could say there is less coffee in this cup, or there are fewer cups of coffee on the table. Another example is rice. Rice is an uncountable noun, so we say there is less rice. But the grains of rice becomes an countable noun, so we say there are fewer grains of rice. There are also some exceptions with money, time, and distance. For example, 10 euros, 6 miles, 4 hours. These are all countable nouns. We can count the number of euros, of miles, and of hours. But in spoken English, we would use less with these measurements. So less than 10 euros, less than 4 hours, less than 6 miles. So let's do a quick recap. With countable nouns, so with apples or chairs or glasses, we say fewer. With uncountable nouns, so water, traffic, happiness, we use less. And don't forget about the exceptions with time, distance, and money. Even though these are countable, we still use less. Okay, let's do some practice. There is now less violence in his country. Now, is that statement correct? Yes, because violence is an uncountable noun. We don't count 1 violence, 2 violence, 3 violence, so we say less. What about there are now fewer acts of violence in his country? So here I've changed the noun from violence to violent acts. And an act is a countable noun because we can count an act. We can count 1 act or 2 acts, 3 acts. So we say fewer. What about furniture? Is furniture countable or uncountable? Furniture is the overall term that we use for tables, chairs, sofas. So as it's the overall general term, it's uncountable. We can't count 1 furniture, 2 furnitures, 3 furnitures, but we can count pieces of furniture. So furniture is an uncountable noun, so we say there is less furniture in the bedroom, but pieces of furniture is countable. So we can say there are fewer pieces of furniture in the bedroom. So I hope that makes sense. It's quite simple when it comes to countable and uncountable nouns, but again, with examples like water or coffee, it can get a bit confusing, but with some practice, this rule is quite easily understood in English. So take some time to practice it at home, And don't forget, if there are any other rules in English that you would like me to make a video on, please leave it in the comments. Thank you and goodbye.